Welcome to discussions of music, healing, and consciousness with your hosts, Chris Noble and Bill Perotzman. On this podcast, Chris and I offer a spontaneous, ongoing conversation about how music is intertwined with healing and consciousness. Our first season helped lay the foundation and build some of the superstructure for what we want to do here in Season 2, where we'll be welcoming some intriguing guests, going deeper into ancient mysteries and wisdom, and cultivating your background knowledge and curiosity. We hope these discussions will inspire your own study and practice of the musical and healing arts, and that your contribution to advancing world consciousness will be satisfying for you and transformative to those around you. Let's get started.
I won't deny it's really nice to have an AI write up a whole blurb of something I just don't have the time to write.
Well, exactly. And okay, so I'm going to jump on a soapbox here. Forgive me, people. But why not? You know, if AI can take over 80%, let's say, of the communication, the written communication that we need, 80% of us don't care. If we're working with the 20% who really do, they can get the information from AI just like everybody else. But what we deliver had better be, you know, on the 20%, top 20% level versus the middle 80% level, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you can get by with AI generated music if you're talking under the bell curve. But when you get to the outliers where it matters and where people really are tuned in to what's happening, you know, AI is not going to play a sound healing.
No, and honestly, like AI, like if I really wanted, let's say for a script as an example, like even though I've read some of the scripts that they're actually
the scripts are amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
And it still never will be the same as like another writer, because I've worked with writers, especially in film before, and the dynamic in that creative space you have with them where you bounce off each other, and you don't get that with AI. That's the difference. So I would always still hire a writer and bring in that writer or that creative. Same with AI artwork. There's an insane AI artwork that they can, like, photorealistic or animated.
Or blows me away.
It's insane. It's amazing. So once again, I'll do that for like a quick YouTube thumbnail. But if I really, let's say for an album artwork, I don't want to go the AI because I want to have more of an organic back and forth with the artist and make it feel, you know, I want that human element. So I think also the more AI comes in, it kind of will still distill into, okay, I'll use AI for this, I want human for that.
Yes.
And so on.
Yes. I'm a big believer in the energy that you put into it is what attracts us. It's not the content, it's the energy.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise, why would, like, TikTok videos go viral?
Right.
So, and that's a good example, by the way, of how human and digital interact, but it's still an energetic pull.
Yes.
Right? So it's the energy that does it. So if I'm going to do something start to finish with the kind of energy that is, we'll call human energy, then I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to make myself do that. Now, if I'm going to market it after it's ready to go, right? If I'm going to market it, then you got a choice to make.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to continue the energy that you put into the project or the song or the piece of art or whatever it is, the production? Do you want to continue that energy in your marketing? And I think that's an ethical question, because you can go out there and you can do, I mean, you could hire Ryan Holiday, right, to manipulate the media to market your thing.
Sure.
And you could probably have a huge audience, but is that the energy that you want? You know, and these are like serious questions I'm asking here, and it's not self-limiting thoughts. Don't hate on me if you're, you know, going to listen to this and say, well, but you could be marketing it that way, Bill.
Sure, there's always exceptions. There's always alternatives, but
sure.
I know what you're saying, you know.
But it's like we need to think about these things, especially as creatives. It doesn't matter so much if you're selling insurance, perhaps, but if you're creating something that's innovative and organic, and especially if it has a healing intent, right?
And that's where the AI will still take some more time, just because even based off of what you're reading on the internet, which is kind of AI's, you know, brain or archive. You know, there's still not a lot out there on sound healing frequencies. I mean, we're still rediscovering all this, so we're in the process of innovation and creation around the sound healing, you know, medicines and modalities. So you still need that human touch, especially when it is in a newer niche, a new area of creation where it's all going to be experiment at that point anyway.
Here's a question for you. Are you familiar with the idea of kosher? The rabbi blesses the food, and so the rabbi's not going to bless every piece of food that goes out there. He's going to bless the factory where it's all made.
Right.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you're getting the idea. So the factory is going to make kosher food. Isn't that a little bit like saying to AI, okay, AI, make me sound healing? Because you put your intent into the AI, does that carry over? That's my question. Like your intention to say the AI, does the energy carry over through what ChatGPT does?
I'm sure it does. And I guess then it comes down to the AI programming, and is it capable and have enough, I don't know, resources or information or just programming in general to be able to do the task you're asking. Right now, we know it certainly can do a lot of things like artwork and writing and music.
Yeah.
But specific, complex healing music, which that usually is, that's another question, right?
Yeah. I mean, but it'd be so easy to say, okay, AI, write me a third chakra, 5/8 meter, 432 hertz, 47-minute guided meditation music soundtrack.
Yep. Which you do, right?
In the key of E minor.
Right.
Right. And because you have to tell AI, right? And my intention is to, and then you can fill in the intention. Right? My intention is to do this spiritual healing work using this music. Do you think that would flow through?
With the style of Blind.
Oh, in the style of, the style of Chris Noble.
Or John Hopkins or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because the style is also a big thing. Yeah, if you're able to, because I was about to say, like, that would maybe work, but then you're going to hit the wall of, like, yeah, but it's just not the vibe or the style I'm going for. But if you put the genre or kind of style as well into there, then we're really getting into it, because sure, it's hitting all those parameters and frequencies that we need, but it's also delivering it. Because for me, healing music is just as much important, the music versus the frequencies. If I don't like the way the frequencies are mixed together and how it's sounding, I'm not going to listen to it. It's not very pleasant to listen to. So I still want to put my spin.
Even if you had like a way of determining that was 100% your intention was in there,
right?
Even if you knew that was like the identical to you live at the keyboard, right? You'd still diss it if you didn't like it.
Well, if I don't like it, I don't like it. So I have to.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I'm just asking to be obvious.
Yeah, no, I guess it's more just these are great questions, Bill. It's more I'm like if I don't like it, then I'd have to assume that there's still something lacking with the AI and human interface side. I guess,
we would, right?
Yeah. So it's like,
it just it doesn't do it for me. Like you're in the sound studio, you're going, let's do another take.
And that's where hopefully, and for probably still quite a while, that's where the difference between AI and the human creativity will likely stay. Now, it's advancing so fast that I can't say any absolute this is exactly what it's going to be like, because we don't know. It could be at a point where it will be indistinguishable from a Beethoven or a Mozart, and that probably will be where it evolves. But for now, that's where the human element plays a huge role, is in the style, innovation, and creating new things. AI is awesome at the old, but innovation, that, and not to get too esoteric, but innovation and creativity are a right brain function, but not even right brain.
Yeah, the right brain plus the connection to...
Plus the etheric, cosmic connection, where is the information really coming from? It's not actually generated in the brain. It's entering your mind, and it's coming from another source, and that's the whole other interface side of it, that the human being is an incredible interface for infinite knowledge and creativity from the rest of the universe. Does AI know that? Once again, I'm sure it would probably learn that, maybe, and then somehow, maybe it would be AI, but it's AI that's built a human clone to then channel the information as a human would. I don't know, man. It gets funny, but I still feel a defining difference where I don't feel like we're getting completely booted out as a human race or anything.
No. I think so. This is an idea that I've been playing around with for a while, and I think we've discussed it here before. So let me see how well I can do to keep it brief. So we know about quantum entanglement, right? Which is like intention at a subatomic level. So if you've got an intention that works at a subatomic level, what consciousness thinks that, right?
Yeah.
And we've been able to prove that human consciousness can't cause entanglement. We've been able to do machine entanglement, so we can have like quantum computing and stuff like that. So let's, as a hypothesis, let's just say that quantum entanglement is a thing. So intention matters.
Oh yeah.
It probably matters like 100%. But we higher human organisms have discovered how to get in the way of that intention so profoundly that we can no longer use it.
Because we don't believe in it anymore either. So we've discarded it, and if you don't believe in what you're doing, then it ain't gonna work.
Well, we've evolved such amazing perceptive capabilities that we can no longer see this stuff.
But our perceptive capabilities come from a paradigm where everything's separate.
Right.
That whole idea of separation, that everything is a separate entity.
You're you over there, and I'm here, and
exactly. Of course, well, not of course, but for a lot on the spiritual path, you recognize pretty quickly that that's of course not the case. Everything's connected.
Everything's connected.
Everything is a mirror of itself. Everything is connected. There's only the singularity of consciousness where you all reside and live and are born and die and everything like that. It's all connected. So then that connection, I guess, maybe adds to the concepts of quantum entanglement and things like that.
Well, sure, yeah. Now we have science to prove it. So is our job then, as these advanced beings that we are, to get the fuck out of our own way?
Yeah, Bill. I think that is the answer. And right? I think you're absolutely real.
I mean, it just makes logic.
It does, though.
Every time. You got a lot to unlearn. Okay, psychedelics just like drop all that stuff. It's just like flush. And then, after a few hours, it all comes back. All technology has done for us is to get in our way. So if AI takes over that whole job, man, I'm good, because that'll free up this CPU, to let go of some of that stuff.
I love giving it the busy work, give like writing a description for a social media post. Go for it, buddy.
Run Starbucks, run McDonald's.
Yeah, go for it. Really, though, like, take that stuff. That's great. Oh, what about jobs? I'm like, does anyone really want to work at McDonald's? Like, no, it means we're going to open up other areas and other jobs that are more creative based.
Yes, it'll get back to the heart, right? We'll get out of the age of enlightenment where the head was everything, and only smart people won.
Right.
And we'll bring it to a place where the Coranderos are right now, right? Those people have been holding that space for thousands of years for us, like the Dark Ages. The Christians living on the islands off the coast of the UK, right?
Yeah.
They held spirituality together for the rest of the world for a time.
Yeah, and places like certain Africa and South America, especially, the last 2,000 years.
Gosh. Yes,
they maintained a lot of incredible and very important spiritual wisdoms and teachings, right?
And our friends, the Egyptians, so ancient, right?
Yeah.
So it's out there, people. And as soon as we release our grip on reason, as reason being the only thing, as soon as we release that, we're going to be able to welcome some of this other stuff, which, according to all the seers and people who think such ways, that's our savior right there, right? That's saving grace.
Yeah.
For those of us who haven't killed each other.
Well, we are the ones we've been waiting for, right? And I think.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. My poor mind is spinning right now. Yes.
Yeah, right. I know. Take a moment, everyone watching and listening. Take a breath.
Sleep. We are the ones.
Well, and that's in that way of like, we are the ones that are awakening right now into this kind of new energy of this new planet and new consciousness, and that comes with a lot of turbulence and change and chaos, but also brings new life, new ideas, and I think that's what we're moving into are all these new concepts of ways of doing business, ways of just living your life and getting out of this like dog-eat-dog Darwinian survival fear-based time, right, of competition. We're moving into an energy now in a time of collaboration is what brings in wealth and abundance.
Yes.
Community, brings in the abundance. And also just,
what are there, 8 billion of us? Imagine what we could do working together.
well, we see small examples of that, and we've done incredible things with those small examples. So imagine, get a couple billion under that, and we're unstoppable.
Take away all the crazy work, and
yeah,
I mean, there really are good things we can do once we stop fighting each other.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot by design. And I think the more we kind of come back into our things that we like, just love to do, like with sound and music, it's going to help literally resonate other people back into a sense of equilibrium, where they can look with their own eyes and go like, hey, wait a minute, why are we killing each other? It seems to just maybe financially benefit a very small group of people, and otherwise everyone suffers. So why are we doing it?
Yeah, explain that again. So get out of our way, right? Get out.
Yeah, basically.
So let's talk about this, because one of the amazing things that's happening to musicians, and I know this like from around close in, and I know this from talking to Chris. For you, if you're listening to this, Chris is music is one of the things that Chris does, right? Really well.
Correct.
But it's like the core creativity too, right?
Yeah.
So we've talked about festivals, bands, and I've encountered, like, personally, just through the random reaches of the world, people reaching out. Bill, I want to get started in music. What do I do? Right? It's a good question, but the kind and diversity of people who are called to do something creative right now probably reaches beyond make music. I know it does with you, Chris, because you've got music and film and the spiritual healing work, right? All combined with a bunch of technical skills that you can edit and sound design and all that other kind of stuff. I mean, this is the nature of creativity these days. We no longer just play an instrument.
No, because we are multifaceted. Like we are. I think, again, this old paradigm of you have one career, one job, one training,
old school,
one direction. That's gone. Right?
You bagging on my band? I love my One Direction.
And you're full of the good puns today, Bill. That's great. It's exciting time. I'd say if I were an up and coming artist, just newer to the world of professional creativity, whatever that would be, right? Yeah. It's exciting. I think it's to really embrace all those different modalities. Like, if you're feeling that pull to any creative outlet, go for it. And trust me, they can all weave in together. I'm just discovering that now and seeing how it can all actually weave in. I mean, the easiest way is that you just are your own brand of creative, and then it all just falls into that.
Producers are gone. You don't need them anymore.
Not really.
I mean, if you can afford somebody to listen to your stuff and tell you, hey, fix this, but
certainly,
you can do this.
Yeah, and we're talking about AI. I mean, there's pretty solid AI now that can master your music. Mix, I would definitely leave that to a human still. Yeah. But to master, get AI to do that. There's so many ways, right? We can outsource to technology now.
Oh yeah.
And at the same time, it makes it so that there's really no excuse to create. You don't even need to be musically trained to create music now, and that's actually pretty cool.
If you're in it, most amazing discovery of the year was DaVinci Resolve, which is free, and not only does it do an incredible job with video editing, like blows everybody else out of the water,
right?
And it's free. I'm in. It also has an amazing sound editor. Mm. And, we're not talking about producing an album here, but we're talking about, like, the final mastering of a podcast like ours is 30 seconds. Just bang, bang, bang. That's remarkable these days, especially for a tool that is used by the pros, you guys. And that's not the only thing out there, but it saved a whole bunch of time for me. And it's pretty incredible in terms of its capabilities.
Yeah, it's just like a really high end software that's free.
Yeah,
and it's like there's things like that. And there's a good old classic GarageBand, for anyone else that's starting off. You can do amazing things with GarageBand. I learned all my editing skills on GarageBand as a kid, and do it. It's another great way to just have no excuse to start. My friends who are just getting into have had other careers. One of my friends who's a social worker psychologist, and social worker therapist, and she over the last 3 to 4 years has moved into sound healing and even now doing live performances, and has always loved music and has like a little more of a fun hobby band that she plays with for covers, and just she's just gone, and she's in her mid to late 40s, and just decided at this point in her life, you know what, I need to switch, I need to change the career a bit and get music and sound going, and she's made that change, and it's really cool because she's just using GarageBand and like simple technical setups for live performances. It's really easy with, again, the gear only gets better, so it just does make it a lot more feasible for simple or slightly more complex pieces of music or performances for complete novices, total people that have just started getting in. You can really pick it up quick and start to go at a pretty professional level.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. It's great.
Hey, what would you say, Chris, to someone who's got the discipline of like recording everything they play so they can learn from their own recordings? What would you say everybody use video from now on? iPhone on a stand or something, right?
Yeah.
Then you know so much more about the way that you present.
Look, at this day and age, I mean, everything's, we know, right? It's video for pretty much most media. Even if you're just listening to it, you're probably there's a video playing and you're just not watching it.
Right.
That's very likely. Now, we love our podcast. Of course, there's still just audio is great too. I think, look, there's never a problem with, like, especially if you're in a rush, like just throw the phone, the voice memo app on and record or whatever. Yeah. I mean, get it down, but better than not at all. But when you do have a bit more time, definitely invest in a little phone tripod, a couple bucks.
Yeah,
and
I've got this funky thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of
back.
Yeah, tons of cheap options out there. Definitely don't have to break the bank. Start filming yourself, and a couple of cool things will happen. One is that you'll have immediate content for yourself to post if you want to market and have any form of content to just put out there. Also, that content can be used to book shows. I mean, Absolutely. The funny thing now with people and with bookers is they will first and foremost look at a video of a very, sometimes the more generic video the better. Like, they sometimes want that cell phone in the audience view because that's raw. It's not, you can't hide behind that. So they get to see the full authentic version of what you do. So first of all, you can use those videos for booking, you can use them for social, and then, like Bill was saying, it's practice, and not just of how you sound, and not like how you sound on video, which is important because people film you at your concerts. People, like, it's so good to know how all that comes through. And on top of all that, then you get to learn a really amazing skill, which is how to be in front of camera. How do you look? How do you come across? Earlier in my career, I was lucky enough that because I was in film and I was working in film and shooting and editing in the film, like independent film, I knew a lot about how to show up on camera, but I still wasn't even aware of little tics and mannerisms and quirks that I have no idea I'm doing.
Oh, right. Yes.
And so when I watch myself on video, I'm like, what is my left arm doing when I'm just sitting listening to something, or I'm in an interview, and what is my hand doing? It's the weirdest looking awkward thing. And when I'm performing, I'm like, I'm so slouched that I'm almost getting back pain watching myself play right now. Jeez, I gotta really get that back. So you can really analyze it. I mean, have you done that, Bill, where you've seen yourself on camera and you're like, oh my god?
We didn't have video when I was growing up.
But nowadays,
oh yeah, I look back at old video, I'm like, oh my gosh, Bill, you got to fix, right? And so I'm more conscious of it. And then, the recent videos that I've recorded, I also can see things that I want to change, just physical stuff. I mean, we're talking about like Alexander Method stuff here. Basics, posture. There's all sorts of facial tics and hand stuff like you're talking about too. But yeah, becoming conscious of that is not something that you can do without intention. If you're filming yourself all the time, then you've got reference where it's work. It takes some time. You got to go back through that stuff and listen and pay attention visually and see how it changes you. But you know what? I think a lot of injuries would be resolved that way. Like if we had video of me playing at age 13 and somebody who was versed in proper usage for musicians, and I'll use a name here, Dorothy Taubman, she's passed away, but that the Taubman school is all about the proper use of your hands, your arms, your back, your frame at the piano, at the violin, just like all these things. And one of the biggest jobs they have these days is repairing damage that's been done through repetitive motion injury to your hands, wrists, that kind of stuff. They're experts. Anyways, but I digress.
No, it'd be very handy to have
video. We'd know. You could look at the video and go, well, of course that's why Bill hurts.
Right? Yeah. There's so many benefits. And then as a skill, like look at this day and age, how many jobs, even just like totally non-creative, non-acting based jobs. Right? So many of them need you on video. Like, why wouldn't you want the skill of just being comfortable in front of the camera? Every time I would do any interview, it was always the same reaction. You put that camera in front of someone and then press record and the red light goes on. Everyone freaks out. Everyone loses all the insecurities come up. And I get it. But it's just a funny phenomenon. Unless I'm working with, an actual professional actor or someone who's got extensive experience being on camera, it's always the same. Like, oh, I get the camera. Oh, I'm so shy. Everyone reacts you almost universally to being on camera, and you can shift that by practicing and being comfortable with it.
And then when you get really good at it, you can start videoing yourself in crazy environments, like take your guitar outside and play by a stream, all the way to The Extreme, which is that amazing movie that we were talking about earlier by Olafur Arnalds. An outdoor concert completely in like this moonscape of Iceland. You cannot see any of the technology, but it's all hardwired. It's all live. So get some experience videoing yourself and then play with it. See if you can take your act to a place where you might want to shoot a music video, even if it's straight on, right?
Yeah, and that's the kind of, I actually wanted to, there's something else you brought up, Bill, that I was thinking of too, which is, this idea of creativity, especially in this new day and age, and it's definitely not just limited to the arts either. Definitely. And I've said this to my friends from day one, where I'm like, I don't care if and I know that when you're saying, of course, it happens more in the creative, and I agree, it does. A lot of these things are more, when you're working in the creative fields, yes, you're going to be using your right brain and being more creative more often than not, but other professions, all professions require creativity because human beings are creative. You have to get creative when your coffee maker breaks in the morning and you need that cup of coffee and you have to jimmy rig something for it to work. I mean, that's creativity.
I'm totally thinking of Winston Churchill, who took a walk every day. Granted, he was an artist at one point in his life, but he knew the power of getting away from it and letting the right brain go for a while. Just like distract the left brain and take a walk. Einstein and his violin.
Well, you want to talk about getting out of your own way? Your left brain is typically what is in the way.
Completely. I know that for me. I'm always tripping over my left brain.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for you, I'm actually curious. This might be a little off. Well, it's not off topic, but I'm just curious, Bill. What do you find helps you, to the best of your ability, keep some form of a balance with your brain, with right and left brain on a regular? I know it's like, I mean, I haven't figured it out either, but like to this point, what have you found has helped, at least at certain points, with balancing the two?
I was going to say regular exercise.
Okay.
And that's a challenge because, we all know how to test the reasoning power of our left brain because that's how we were trained growing up, right? So how do you do the right brain exercise? And that's a pretty awesome creative journey if you're into that thing. Or if you want to know how, you can start by sitting down and listening to some music that you've never heard before. And try not to judge it as you're hearing it, just allow the music. That kind of allowing exercise is what the right brain craves. For heaven's sakes, don't journal. Don't make yourself work. Let's keep this simple. You don't have to be pushing a pencil or a pen or even clicking and clacking on the keyboard, but allowing your right brain just to experience some music that's new to you is a really powerful way to start that exercise. Of course, it goes up from there.
You can also... what just kind of came to mind too is, with exercise, what you were mentioning before, Bill, is a couple of weeks ago, I had a friend come over. We're working on an event, on a workshop a Well, maybe in the next episode we record, I'll talk more about it. It's a men's workship, and I think it would be really beneficial.
Oh yeah, you've mentioned this. That would be awesome.
Yes, amazing masculines that tune into this. But anyway, so working with my collaborator on that, and he had the brilliant idea of going for a run for our meeting to actually do a work-based or exercise-based meeting.
There you go.
And not just that, but we'll run to this lake that's in Vancouver, in the city, and just like a small little lake. And then we went there, did some breath work together. It was a beautiful sunny day, kind of sunbathing by the lake. The ducks are, floating around. And the whole time, we just kept getting ideas and ideas for the workshops and making all these notes the whole time. And I was laughing at the end of it, and I was just like, dude, this is the most fun.
Right?
I feel fantastic. We sweated, I've exercised, I've been getting my vitamin D, I'm outside, we bare feet on the ground, so I was getting my electrolytes, not my electrolytes, my negative ions from the earth, and so on and so forth. And I'm in community, I'm with a good friend, so I'm in that nice energy of being with a good friend of mine. And then at the end of it all, we have quite a few workshops that we outlined all of them for, and recorded the first one last week, and we'll record the rest of them as we go, and it was extremely productive. So the funniest thing is I went home and I genuinely had to remind myself that was also productive, Chris.
Right?
Because I had so much fun, and I felt great because I felt like I just went to the gym or something. So I got all the, the nice hormonal changes and in all the nice chemical releases and everything that happen when you exercise. So I've got all that going. I've been with a good friend of mine. We also did some breath work. I mean, I got all this stuff going on, and yet I was productive. So I think what you said there is a great, you can take that into that direction of you can combine the left brain, right brain stuff and kind of have them oscillate back and forth.
Yes, because when you said balance, it implied stasis. And I thought, it's not that. It's always a teeter-totter. We need the movement, we need the tension release, right? And that's tenses, the left releases, and backwards. That's music
dance,
right there.
Exactly. So that's what I was thinking. Is dance is a great example of that oscillation back and forth, and how parts of your body might go left brain because you're like, oh, where's my leg? It's
right.
You're trying to still coordinate your body, maybe if you're not an experienced dancer like me. Or and then also if you're like me though too, and then the song just takes you, and then you're fully in your right brain and just feeling it. You're just in pure expression, just letting it out, and that's a great example too of oscillating back and forth.
Sure, because we live in physical, right? We're always going to come back here, and the left brain's decent at managing physical. So until we're not here anymore, let's get good at the transition. It's one of those ways to get out of our way, right? Get out of our own way.
Yeah. Out of the the brain's great, and we're talking left brain, right brain. Of course, there's getting out of the brain altogether and getting into your heart. Getting into
totally, because ultimately it's a no-brainer, right?
That's pun number 3 today, folks.
Pun number 3. I've been using that one for a while.
Hope you're keeping track, everybody. The Bill pun list.
So I'll throw myself some shade. Can you imagine me doing ecstatic dance?
I can, Bill. I can. Yeah,
because I cannot, and I've done it. I cannot imagine myself doing this. This was in the 90s, when it was still like hippies and sarongs or whatever. That was not me.
Well, my version's a little different.
I've
got my own spin on it, and I think for that as well as I am, you would be exactly the kind of person I would be trying to get out to those things, because I want to encourage the people that are less inclined to dance. Dancers. There you go. They're going to come out. I'm not worried about that. Easy peas. They're searching. My previous partnership, my last relationship, she was amazing at finding dance events like that. She just was magnetized them, found them everywhere. That's just a gift. If you're into it, that's what happens, right? But for people like you, that's who I'm trying to bring out to these things, because first and foremost, two major things that I find is I release so much subconscious gunk that's in my body, specifically when I dance. Other things, yoga, all that stuff, great. All of it's awesome. But for some reason with dance, it's because it's also linked to my inner child. And there's this playful element of it. And the more I and sometimes, in the past, doing psychotropics like MDMA and stuff has helped me fully let that out. And how having done dance parties and stuff with MDMA, I can come back in a sober environment like I will be at next week doing my thing, and I'm going to be drunk on the music. I'll tell you that. I will be only drinking natural spring water all night, but I'm going to be high as heck on the music and the dance, because especially when it's loud, awesome music that I just love, and then I'm moving that body in ways I don't even understand.
Yeah,
I'm lost. It's great. I'm gone.
It's you're gone. Yeah. And that's where you can go with practice, right? So you hit, and I said throwing shade on purpose, and you hit right on it, man, which is this. Get out of your own way, Bill. Because if there's resistance to dance, that's probably an indication it's where I need to be.
Very good point.
Right?
Yeah.
I resist the dance? No, Bill, you should be dancing. Because and this is an amazing observation too, as you pointed out, there are things you release when you're dancing, physically release, that are different than when you're in a yoga pose.
Yep.
Or any other form of movement. And I'm not saying that like off the top of my head here. My wife's a dancer, so awesome. That's her observation about it from having studied this stuff.
Okay.
And why do dancers stretch? There's ways that need to be moved that combine like the left and the right brain, right? It is the dance, like literally, it's the dance of that. And so there's my challenge to myself, or your challenge to me.
Well, no, you know what? And I'll say the same. It's a great litmus test. I think what you said is brilliant, Bill, which is if it really does kind of like, you can feel that block, and then when you kind of can take a moment and step back and remove any emotion or anything else that comes up and go, wait, why is that block even there? Like, wait, why am I resisting dancing? It's something that every human, it's a pretty universal thing. Other things, like, okay, sure, I'm resisting eating cheese because I think maybe my stomach does not agree with it very well. Or, like, there's difference. But when it's something as universal as dance or music or, things of that nature, yeah, it's good. I think it's really great to ask that. And for me, it was actually DJing these types of events. I've known for years I was going to do this and wanted to do this, and I was terrified. So it's taken me quite some time to also just kind of get out of my own way. And in this event that I organized, I collaborated with 2 other friends of mine, so that there's, I'm not the only one doing it. It's going to force me. And we put it in the calendar, and I've reserved the space. So I'm like, oh crap, I really got to do this.
What's happening? Yeah.
Oh no.
There's a magic about a really great DJ that, just like a really great band, invites everybody in the room into the music, into the movement, into the ethos, the spiritual connection of what's happening. It doesn't matter what the music is. A really great DJ can do that, and it blows me away. It just blows me away. It's such a skill.
It is. It totally is. I've really reshifted my my view on DJing over the years, and
I mean, the tech's cool too, right?
Oh, it's awesome. So much fun.
But it's not like everybody's watching you, but everybody is. Like you're leading the whole thing.
You are. You're still the performer at the end of the day. I mean, you're on the stage doing the thing. Music's coming out of those speakers. So, and I love DJing because I personally, my spin on it is musical. Like I still have a djembe that I'll bring to this event. I'll be playing percussion a bit on some songs.
Yeah.
I have my little melodica. I think I'll solo on a couple of songs too, because why not?
Why not? Right?
And some of the other events I want to do, I want to invite people to bring their own percussion with them. Imagine a whole dance party where everyone's banging on some percussion and feeling like we're all contributing to the music together. I mean, that's great.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally nothing like it. So one more question. I know we're getting close on time, but I've got to ask you. So do you use AI to build your playlists?
Oh, yeah. So I definitely use AI to inspire the playlists. I love Spotify's algorithms. Total props to Spotify on that, even though they don't pay their artists anything, but none of them do. So I guess
that's maybe really not an excuse, but that's okay. We're going to take over the world.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll be paying us.
Yeah, exactly.
Or so if we want to, maybe we'll pay that. Sorry. Okay.
No, it's all good. So they're good. I really find their algorithms are amazing, and so for discovering new music that is right up my alley for the total exact vibe and taste I'm going for, yeah, I'll definitely use AI to discover new music. But I always make the playlists and the sets all on my own and really bring them in. So I use AI for new stuff to just pull in throughout the whole ether of music out there that's like insane these days, right? There's so much. AI, I like to help find the stuff that it knows my taste, I guess, because the algorithm, and I use that. So I use it for discovering, but not for designing a set.
And this is a bonehead question, but never thought about it. How much of a improviser are you as a DJ?
So that's funny, Bill. I know I'll be highly improvisational as a DJ. However, like same with music, it comes with training. You got to still have a solid amount of understanding of your instrument, the device, your mixer, whatever. If it's music or DJ, it's the same principle. So you need to get to a place. I can improvise, and I can do it in a very simple, minimalistic way, certainly, with still some question marks as how I might do certain things. But as I get better, I love the idea of pretty much fully improvising sets, or at least improvising a large part of them, because for me, it's all about feeling the energy of people where they are in that exact moment, not, I've planned it 2 weeks prior and then now we're doing it. But so I definitely know I need and want to have that improvisational, but again, respect all those DJs out there. There is an actual skill to this, and a real skill to this, and I'm still learning it. So I mostly planned out my set.
I knew nothing about DJing, and then I got to hang out with one during a set one time, and everything, changed. So I made all these crazy assumptions, still based on things like vinyl, right?
Which is tough. If you're doing the vinyl stuff, props, because
that's heavy duty.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about matching tempo and matching key, and sometimes matching key in major or minor, and style too has to blend. I mean, and all of this, in spite of technology, it's still an art.
Yeah,
I thought it was all automatic.
I know. Well, and even some of the new software has a lot of automated functions, but it does not change. We're getting back to our theme here: the human element of improvising the right song at the right time, and we have billions of songs to choose from. So that is a skill to choose that specific one that's just going to fit.
It's it's so cool.
It's so tasteful. It takes in my last relationship, my girlfriend, she was absolutely amazing at just choosing the right tunes, even when we were just in the car or at a party or things like that. And I kept telling her, I'm like, you do know that that is an amazing skill. Not everyone has that skill to just know the right song at the right time. And she always knows all the latest new cool music or just weird cool stuff that's out there, and always would play it at just the right time, right vibe. And I just kept telling her, you're so good at that. You're such an awesome unintentional DJ.
Yeah.
And then by the end of our relationship, we'd gotten her a DJ mixer, and she was full on doing it. And last I saw from her, she's DJing parties now and doing a great job, because she's so natural at it, because that is a skill. There's an innate taste or sense of what needs to be played right now, and that is not something everyone has, for sure.
Yeah, I think Questlove has a online course if you want to learn how to do that, or you can just hang out with Chris or with me, and for a few years, and you'll know.
There's lots of good stuff. YouTube's, definitely one of your best friends for tutorials there. That's how I've been learning. And
seriously.
Do it, practice. And it's fun. What I'm also going to do is rent out a little rehearsal space next week and practice before in the rehearsal space, so I can blast it, because that's another thing. Especially as a DJ, you want to practice playing on a full sound system, which most of us won't be able to do at home. So that's another nice, fun little way to get out there and have your own mini. And here's the thing: at the end of the day, every time I'm practicing and learning more about being a DJ, I'm having a mini dance party with myself.
Yes,
and that is the therapy. It feels so damn good.
The music is the what is that? The music is the modality.
Yeah, it is the medicine. It's the modality. It's awesome. So
take us home here with some wisdom. Summarize what we've learned today. We got to get out of our own way.
We got to get out of our own way. What else were we talking about? Human versus AI.
How to use AI well as a human being, whether intention matters, stuff like that. Oh, then the big question remains is, will Chris and his girlfriend get back together?
Well, I won't speak for her, but we haven't really spoken for quite a while. But we're she's an amazing human being, and I still have lots of love for her, and I think she does for me as well. But I think at this point it's one of those situations in life where you just,
Oh yeah.
I'm one of those people. I don't look at relationships as success or failure. I'm super grateful for the time we had together, and we learned so much from each other. And honestly, a lot of this DJing and dance stuff, I have to give her a huge, hats off to her for that, because she was a big influence for me in getting me into all the dance stuff and going to all those dance parties. And I was always the one in the audience being like, I can do that. I can, that looks like so much fun. So thank you, thank you to her for that, because I don't think we'll be getting back together, just because it just doesn't seem like that's our calling in this life. But at the same time, I'm so grateful for her and to all that she brought in. So thank you for getting me into DJing and dance music, because you're that ain't going anywhere. I'm gonna only be getting more and more into that stuff. So at the end of it all, Bill, I mean, I don't know, we're creative beings, and I think leaning into the fact that all of us as humans are creative, that is one of our defining differences between us and AI. And we have that ability to literally bring in information from elsewhere, the ether, cosmos, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We will call them things like downloads or epiphanies or genius moments of I have the idea for this amazing thing. That is coming from a place that's not in your brain. Okay, and humans, that's an incredible ability that we all have. AI does not. So we've still got lots to offer here. We don't have to get too scared, I think, of the AI situation, although I know there's cause for that, and I understand that. So I think that's a really great difference that we have with AI. And then bringing it back to, I don't know, the power of movement and music together, combined. Let us know in the comments, and in future episodes, but in the comments of this episode, we'd love to hear, how have you felt, audience and listeners and viewers, how have you felt when you dance and you hear that song? Maybe it's at a club or at a friend's party or something where you just gotta move. How good do you feel when you're in that place of just moving to one of your all-time favorite songs, blasting through the speakers or in the car or wherever, and you're just grooving? Do you not feel the sense of complete presence in that moment of just utter enjoyment of yes, I love this, And would it be the same if you were sitting or lying down listening to that? Not that that's a bad thing. We've talked a lot about that in meditation, all that stuff. Great. But if you didn't incorporate that movement, would it be the same? I don't think so. Because the movement with the sound and all of the things combined, that's where the magic happens. And there's so much that gets let out and released through that. Please let us know if you feel similar. And if it helps you in any particular area of your life, maybe bringing in I like to do a little dance every morning for 30 seconds to a couple of minutes, depending on how I'm feeling. It doesn't have to be a banger dance song or anything like that. It can be, sometimes I'm dancing to some Spanish guitar. It's just really nice and soothing in the morning, but I'm still kind of moving, slow salsa movements to it in my kitchen. Just that. It's you get your body going. It's such an energizing way to start things, and it's fun. It brings your inner child in. You get to play with it, as my amazing podcast host, Mr. Bill Protzman, always says, you don't work music, you play music. So bring in the play.
So I'm going to echo two things you said, because one of them was just so an incredible insight for me, is the meeting that you had with your buddy, where you not only were more creative, you were exercising at the same time, moving together, out there in nature, doing all the good stuff. What a great way to hold a meeting. I mean, it's not back to the office, right? It's getting out in a way that really is awesome. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I love having coffee. That's a fantastic thing. But what if you took it on the road? I've always been a walker, like Steve Jobs. I like to have walking meetings. So thank you for that, because that's a beautiful insight that we can use, put to work right now.
And just to get on the technology side of it quickly, you're well, but my friend's not in the city. Get on a call, and then
just walk together.
Go for a walk. Same.
Put on your earbuds.
Yeah.
And the last thing, because it's also relationship based, and I love it when stuff comes home this way. But which one of us would want to have a relationship like Chris had, where you were so inspired, brother, and just lit up? And if those are qualities of the relationships that we're all after, things will change. If that's our intention, right? Put that in the machine. Yeah,
and intention's everything. I think that's a great point, Bill. Yeah, more love in this world, and just that switch of perspective. It's not a failure. It's not a catastrophic. negative thing when something ends. Everything has a beginning, middle, and an end in this.
Tension release, like, right? Exercise.
Cyclical life. Exercise. Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. That's music.
That's music.
It's life. It's all good, you know. So if it's not meant to last, if you're getting over an old relationship, or just went through a breakup, you know, it's all good. I mean, it's painful. Don't get me wrong, but you're grieving the loss of an important person in your life, and at the same time, they had a very important role. So and you got to learn from all those amazing experiences and challenging experiences. It makes you a better person. So thank you to all my previous partners for making me a better person.
There you go. If you're listening.
Yes, I do think that too. But, you know what? It's all love. So yeah, I'm happy to spread that love to everyone.
I know. I'm just playing. Okay, I'm going to get off the stage now.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. We appreciate you so much, Bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the provoking questions this time around. It was great. Got my brain going.
Yeah. Until the next one. Aho.
Until the next one. Aho, everybody.